Hey, I'm Rob from American Hardbag, and in this video, I'm going to guide you through the installation process of the 2014 and up Street Glide fairing from SoundSkins. I developed this kit in partnership with SoundSkins so that audio enthusiasts like yourself would have a way of making your fairing speakers sound better than those plastic factory Harley enclosures. Harley did a spectacular job of upgrading the speaker situation in 2014 Street Glides by going from a 5¼ inch speaker to a much more capable 6½ inch speaker, and also adding an enclosure around those speakers that dramatically increases the speaker's output and sound quality. But there's still a lot of room for improvement on these speaker enclosures. Before you begin, be sure that you've cleaned the speaker enclosures so that the SoundSkins material has a good surface to stick to. Notice that the left and right side pods are not symmetrical. The right side pod has a hole that passes right through it for the cigarette lighter power port. We'll get started on this side first. Locate the two largest panels and use the smaller of the two for the right side pod. Take your time lining up the panel on the pod before sticking it down permanently. If you get it crooked, you can carefully pull it back off as long as you have not firmly pressed it in place yet. The easiest way to get started with this panel is to line up the notches for the screw holes along the side of the pod. Next, we'll move on to the speaker side of the pod and apply the panel that fits under the cigarette lighter port, and then move on to the panel above the cigarette lighter port. Now we move on to the panels that go inside the speaker pod. One of the panels is a long piece with round ends, and the other looks, well, a bit like Nebraska. The Nebraska panel goes inside the pod on the largest flat surface. There isn't much in the way of flat surfaces in there, so this is pretty easy to spot. The long panel goes on top of the largest rib inside the pod, like so. The final step for the right side is to put the 4 square panels inside the pod. These panels don't have a specific place in the pod. They can be installed pretty much anywhere they'll fit. For the left side pod, repeat pretty much all of the same steps. The main difference with the left side is that the speaker side of the pod only has a single panel because there is no cigarette lighter port in the left pod. Now we move on to the panels that go inside the speaker pod. One of the panels is a long piece with round ends, and the other looks, well, a bit like Nebraska. The Nebraska panel goes inside the pod on the largest flat surface. There isn't much in the way of flat surfaces in there, so this is pretty easy to spot. The long panel goes on top of the largest rib inside the pod, like so. After installing SoundSkins, you'll immediately notice that the speakers sound more solid instead of hollow and distanced. Lowering the vibration on the surface of any speaker enclosure increases the speaker's efficiency and allows the speaker to do exactly what it was designed to do, project sound directly at the listener. Adding a SoundSkins kit to your fairing speakers is a great way to improve your front speaker's performance every time. And on the 14 and newer fairings, the plastic speaker enclosures leave a little bit to be desired to be a truly powerful sounding system. SoundSkins adds the last touch to your system that it needs to truly be at its best. To see our full lineup of Harley Davidson motorcycle sound deadening kits, you can visit SoundSkinsGlobal.com or AmericanHardbag.com. Thanks for watching, and ride safe.